By using any synthetic extensions, we can alter store-bought lashes to match your hair. We're going to create clusters to add into these strip lashes and then create some accent pieces for the sides. You will need tweezers, scissors, a comb to keep your extensions in place. You may need some crazy glue gel. We are using a perm rod so that we can use that to shape our fiber, weaving thread, and some liquid nail adhesive. So to start this process, we are going to pick up a small amount of our extension hair and you're gonna hold it at the center. We're going to twist that slightly and that will show us exactly how big our lash cluster is that we're making. So that looks about right. And we're going to use our weaving thread positioned up. We've used perm rods, but you can really use anything. This is just to keep it up and give us a workable surface that we can get under easily. So we've just taped the thread onto those. So I'm going to put our loop underneath, and then I'm going to wrap the tails around, grab them, and pull them through the loop. So it should look like that. Now I'm just going to pull that tight. And I'm gonna use our tweezers and I'm gonna actually slide that down and give it some tension. That's going to make our knot nice and secure. And that is basically how we're gonna finish our clusters. So we're going to continue adding more fiber until we have completed our clusters. If you do end up having any stray hairs that didn't make it through your loops, just pull those away. Give it a little bit of a tug. And you can slide these into place along your thread. Don't get them too close because we need to be able to cut these apart. And we're going to continue working until we have several clusters completed. If you make them too big, your knots may try to pull out, so try to keep them fairly small. You're only working with a few hairs at a time. So around, grab the tail, and pull down. Once we've completed all of our knots, we need to secure our knots, and we're gonna do that with a liquid nail adhesive. This is not a gel, it is more of the liquid kind, so it's going to sink into our knots. So we're just going to make sure that our knots are as tight to that thread as we can get, and we're just going to paint the tops of them with the adhesive, and that's going to secure them so that they don't pull back out. You want to make sure that they have a fairly generous coating without going too overboard. Okay, and we're just gonna let that dry. For the lashes that we're going to be applying into our pre-made lashes, we want them to be clustered and we want them to be flared. So we're going to take our pieces that we've created so far and just pull them apart at the base. I'm going to leave a few of these so that they're a little bit more straight because I'd like to use ones that are a bit straighter in the lower lash line. Next, I'm going to place our perm rod underneath. Then I'm going to add hot water onto our towel, and I am going to lay the hot towel over those lashes. This is freshly boiled water. It is very hot. I'm going to position it all the way around the rod. So I'm forming a complete curl. Once this is cool, you can go ahead and let it go. Still feels a little bit warm, so I'm gonna be careful because this needs to cool to set. But you can see that that is a pretty perfect curl. So the next step is going to be to cut where we need, and then we'll cut them off of the thread and add them to our lashes. So we're going to basically trim the excess. And don't worry about your cut being perfect. We're gonna go ahead and take care of the actual more precision cut after we get them attached. So these were the ones that we left straighter. So we're going to cut those, leave those off to the side. We're going to cut our singles into more manageable pieces. I'm going to cut away the excess knots. We don't need all of that thread in there. To apply our lashes, we are going to use a crazy glue gel. So we're going to open that and put a couple drops on the side. Then we're going to take our lashes, hold them by the hair, dip just the top knot into the adhesive, and then we are going to lay them in on top of our lashes. We're going to continue this until we have all of our accent pieces laid in. Bit like operation, just keep going. If you need to, you can use some toothpicks just to make sure that they're positioned where you want them without risking getting your tweezers stuck in the adhesive. Once we have all of our accent pieces laid in, then we're going to set these aside to dry, and then once they are dry, we can come in and cut and style them. The final step with these lashes is going to be to trim our ends, cut our accent pieces away, and also trim off our excess on our strip lashes. All right, so now we're going to cut our accent pieces into their own separate sections. Trying to cut away as much of the thread as possible. All right, so these are our accent pieces right there. And now we're just going to trim up our regular lashes on the strip to match. And since I'm having a hard time getting under this one on the tray, I'm just going to remove it and cut it freehand. Once it's cut, I can put it back on its tray. And now I'm going to repeat with our other side. Once your lashes are cut, they are ready for application.